to another Sunday morning Samoflange.
Ninja kick strike. Cobra fang.
Yes. Ninja takes Rook 3.
Now, my ninja turns from white to black and switches sides. And now your ninja can't move for 3 turns because you're having emotional angst. Boom. Checkmate.
Pork rind?
Oh, God.
Hey, no one knows. Unless you saw the title, you don't know what we're talking about yet.
Raffi got angry, but he never switched sides, okay?
That's true. He never went to be a foot soldier.
And then changed back to a foot soldier.
And then joined another.
For Shredder, and then started his own dojo.
And then worked for Lord Zed. And then came back
for Zed, and then went back in time and like changed Shredder back, or changed Splinter back into a human and back forth. Did you play the old NES Ninja Turtles game that was so difficult? Crazy hard. First of all, is your microphone on?
No, it's on,
Are
yeah.
we testing? Are we good? Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
So, second of all, I watched what is it called? A playthrough game, a long playthrough NES video, because my mom was cleaning out her closet and found some old Nintendo cartridges. And one of them was the game Uninvited, which was like a horror point-and-click adventure game. Crazy hard. And I spent hours going back and forth. Couldn't get anywhere. I watched 10 minutes of a playthrough video, and the dude got farther in 10 minutes than I had in hours. Because it made no sense at all. You had to use this crazy thing on that crazy thing, and then you had to like randomly click on this item to open up the fireplace, and then it made no sense. And I didn't feel bad that I couldn't figure it out. And that's a lot of how I felt with Cobra Kai, whatever this last season was.
Speaking of, are they gonna bring in the video game now into the canon? I'm kidding.
Yeah. Oh, the video game Cobra Kai, the Ninja
Karate Kid
video game.
Yeah, I know.
That's what we need.
NES
I
version.
loved the Karate Kid video game.
Everyone did.
The Karate Kid
I loved
video
it.
game part 2.
Yes.
Where you had to save Yukie.
I think that was the only Karate Kid game, wasn't it? I think it was.
Part 2 where you went to Okinawa?
Yeah, because 84 wasn't Nintendo, so 85 was. So they did 1 and 2.
Wow.
So yeah.
We just finished the latest season of Cobra Kai.
Yeah, season 4, and there's going to be all spoilers. This is nothing but spoilers.
All spoilers.
It's about what we liked, what we didn't like, and then final thoughts.
Right.
All right, so
this is a reaction video because we literally just finished it.
We just finished it. We watched most of the episodes the night before, and then the last.
January 2nd, right? Yeah. Well,
as of this video, as of this recording, yeah, this is not going to come out for a few weeks, but
I dated us.
Anyway, a few things we liked about it. Let's go with it.
Liked about it.
I will say this. The very first thing, I was talking about this because Terry Silver comes back.
Terry freaking Silver is back.
And you knew that.
We did.
You knew that from the trailer.
We knew at the moment he made the phone call. The moment Chris made the phone call.
Been a long time.
It's been a long time. You and I both knew immediately
who it was,
who he was calling.
Yeah.
There was no question. And I remember like the week or two after the season ended, people were like speculating, like there were articles about who did John Kreese call at the end of the episode, and we're like, what do you mean? Who did he call? Of course he called
Ghostbusters.
Of course,
Bill Murray's on the other line.
Like there's no option, and then all of our dreams came true.
And it's great because this season 4 takes place right after the end of season 3.
Which I do. I'm a huge fan of that in anything.
And everything was turned into a joke, which is great.
Yeah.
Because first off, it ends with Johnny or Danny going, "Let's begin." Right. All right, and then that's it. Let's begin, and then they go, "Begin what? Doing what?" Yeah, great joke, great opening joke, and then of course, what starts off with Terry Silver playing the piano, answering John Kreese's call. We hear John Kreese from season 3.
Right. Yeah, same line.
And then
been a long time. Hangs up on him. It's great. So, and then in some ways I liked it. In some ways it felt a little too much like episode 8 of Star Wars, which is where Luke just takes the lightsaber and he throws it over his shoulder, defying all expectations.
True.
So it's kind of like they just deliberately wrote things to throw it in your face.
It's okay that T and Terry aren't friends anymore.
What do you mean?
I didn't mind that.
Like,
Is that what it was?
At the very end?
I don't think that was. Are you talking about?
No.
Well, because I thought the throwing the lightsaber thing was a joke.
I'm
done
talking
for a
about,
joke.
Yeah, that was silly, like to that
Okay.
point. But
so are you saying the let's begin
Yeah, I'm
joke?
saying
Okay,
like
got it.
the very first episode, the opening scenes. It felt, it kind of had that vibe of like, hey, we're gonna take all your predictions and flush them in the toilet. But it was fine. It was okay with this. It felt better than the Star Wars thing. I don't know if I can really explain that very well, but it kind of had the same vein as what I'm trying to say. The same sort of feeling. Like, we're just going to crap on all of your conspiracy theories and all of your expectations of the season. But then really it came down to, like, the season ended with everything that I expected.
Yeah.
Because just before the season ended, I pointed over and I said it to you that Silver has to stay. It has to be on another season. He's not going anywhere because he hasn't been evil enough. He hasn't done anything all season long. He's just kind of been a wimp and just sort of been being pushed over and everything else. Like that, he hasn't fulfilled his purpose. There hasn't been any grand reason for him to come back. But then they save it to the very, very end, which I like and I don't like.
Right.
I wanted him to be more slimy from the beginning, but in this way, he felt sort of like a pawn.
Exactly.
When you find out at the end, he's really just been the Grand Master.
And we'll talk about the ending in a minute, but
pieces where he wants him to be.
Yeah, but at the beginning, he has the long hair. Megan wasn't sure if that was him.
Right.
And
he did look very different.
And by the way, the actor is really good. He hasn't done anything in forever, and he was really good this season.
He did.
And he played a character that you could tell at moments was Silver, but at the same time was a completely different character. And so good that it's wild how this works. With his hair down, he does look like Terrence, which is what he's being called.
It was Terrence.
And then you pull his hair back. There's a scene where he makes a decision to go back and see John Kreese.
Says, who am I? Basically.
And peels back his hair into a ponytail,
right, which is what
and
we
then
all
looks
know and love,
and looks at the mirror, and then automatically going, I see it now.
Yep. And the best
it's the Superman Clark Kent.
Yeah,
it's the same guy. Glasses was the only thing. A ponytail is the only thing, but it makes him look so different.
But it could have been really cheesy. It was filmed well. It was done.
But no,
well.
I also want to credit this. I also want to credit this to the actor.
Yes.
Because an actor only a good actor can do that. Long hair to a ponytail, and suddenly you can see the transformation.
Yeah.
Really good job.
We talked about that, how Christopher Reeve did such a great job with his physicality.
Yes, he was fantastic.
Right. I tell you what I love the most about that first episode, it only took 30 seconds. And it was the flashback Terry Silver was given, where he's like, I was high on cocaine. That's why I was beating up this kid in the 80s. Like, of course I was cracked out of my mind.
Look at what we were doing. We were going out. I thought it was
people.
unstoppable. I was doing all this. And that just made sense. I mean, they instantly took apart 3 and said, how can we explain? Because 3 is terrible.
Right.
As a movie goes. It's terrible. We watch it. I remember when the first episode of Cobra Kai came out, they played the movie and then the first episode. And I said, okay, now that we've seen the first episode, you wanted to see the second episode. So I was like, yeah, we'll watch that one again because that was one of your favorites. And we've talked about this before. Right. And then I said, well, you know what? We've got to see 3. And you're like, I don't know about 3. And so we watch it. And it's just a joke.
Right, we were kind of hoping like, well,
they meant in season 1 they do a mention, when they say, well, Cobra Kai's been banned. How'd they get banned? Can you be banned? And they got banned after what they did in that part 3. And I was like,
thrilled for
that was funny.
Tidbit,
and I thought that was all we were going to get.
I did too.
And that now it's become a central part of the story. And Cocaine Terry should be trending on Twitter.
Terry should be,
and it makes sense.
Twitter.
But then they show the scenes where he's like laughing maniacally and. Yes, the guy on cocaine.
It makes sense, yeah. And it was great. It was a great bit they wrote into there.
There was some fan on YouTube who made a joke about that 10 years ago, and he's going, yes, they used my joke. But it made sense. Yeah. It made sense. Yeah. This one there's some Nom reference. And I should also mention that the younger people who play Terry Silver and John Kreese are excellent. They look like they're part. We were talking about this.
The new cast that was cast as the young.
They're good.
Of Vietnam. Yeah, they were good actors.
They're good. We saw them more last year than we did this year. But at the same time, though, they did a really good job. Yeah. And I was telling you this when the episode's airing. So we don't get Nom references anymore. No. That's a thing of the 80s and some of the 90s. Nom was so bad. Well, they stopped mentioning it because no one knows what Nom was. No kid born in the 90s knows. That's not a war that they're not talking about. So that they do the old Nom reference. Man, that is an old thing. Because you saw that Tom Selleck. had Nam references all the way through it.
It was a plot point for every action hero.
It was a plot point for every action hero.
Yeah.
Every TV show just about had the Nam reference. It died off somewhere in the mid-90s, but they brought it back, and they did a good job with it. It was good. And this is the season of, we found out, mixing arts is the thing. And this is the problem. This is the problem because so many people have switched hands, and this is the problem that we were having is, okay, they were good, now they're bad, now they're good again.
Right.
So
it's not like there was a deliberate attempt to blur the lines for every character. Every character had some good, every character had some bad. Everybody, was a jerk. Everybody was kind-hearted, and that's fine. Like, I don't mind the blurring of the lines. It's the Beverly Hills 90210 flip-flopping, switching, swapping. Who's on whose team now? Like, what is the Saved by the Bell episode going on? Like, what is this? I couldn't. We were having full-on. Not arguments, but like trying to clarify conversation. No. Remember, he was in Cobra Kai, and then no, she was in this one, but then she changed sides to this.
And then she went to this. I mean, to be fair, Tori's the only one who's been.
She's the only consistent.
She stayed on Cobra Kai the longest. She gets an award.
And she won.
But at the same time, we're supposed to feel bad for her, and at times she's the good guy, even though she tried to kill her. If you look at timelines, earlier that summer she tried to kill
a few months ago
Daniel LaRusso with spiked bracelets that would kill someone. She went out for death blows, but now we're supposed to feel bad for her. Anyway, we'll get into more about that.
Like, what is happening here?
And that story did not.
Her crazy coked out aunt wants to take her money, her disability money.
Because I guess they can't show that was just a new character that's brought in for 1 second.
One episode, just to make Tori flesh out a little bit.
It was kind of. We'll talk more about that because I want to talk about that in a minute. But here's me. I told you I was taking notes during the show.
Yeah.
Here's the danger of typing in notes, not checking autocorrect, and still looking at your screen. Because I didn't. As I'm taking notes, I'm still watching it, so I didn't double check this, and I have. Water of Arson story. I don't know what that means.
Water of Arson story.
So obviously, I don't know what that meant. But anyway, I do want to talk about this since I did mention flashbacks. The young kid Johnny.
Yes.
That I didn't check this. I should have before we went live. Son, it had to be.
It looks just
either like that or that was the most proficient casting in the world.
That was some of the best casting, right?
Because totally and we're talking like 6-year-old Johnny.
Yeah, 5-6-year-old Johnny. Whenever he found out that he was going to get a new dad, and he had his dad's old stuff.
And you pull out Johnny from Karate Kid. You pull a picture of Karate, and you can easily see where this kid will get lanky and long and just look just like Johnny Lawrence from 1985. Yeah. I mean, just like him. So he has to have the DNA of the actor in him. There's just no, double check that. But that past stuff was really good. The actors they got to play in the flashbacks were really good.
Yeah.
I will mention colas here. There's a bunch of there's some Coca-Cola. There's some AHA. There's Coke caffeine.
Right. There was Coke caffeine.
Energy. They're all drinking
Mountain
energy.
Dew. There was Mountain Dew. There was almost everything but Pepsi.
RC. No.
RC though.
RC was in
Pepsi,
it 3 times.
RC.
There was a crushed 12-pack cardboard box in one of the cars. There was RC in the background at the first dinner that they had. There was RC in someone's hand. No. Johnny, when they were eating lunch together, and Johnny shares his lunch with Daniel. He's Johnny's drinking an RC cola.
Right.
So it's weird, but the best line, one of the best lines. There's 2 of my favorite lines in this season was, guys. Do you know that restaurant serves Pibb and Dr. Pepper? Isn't that weird?
Has Dr. Pepper
and Pibb. Yeah, that's great.
What?
That was great.
We both pointed at each other.
What a random reference that I absolutely love.
So true.
Yes.
And we've had that moment. If you and I would have come across a place that had Mr. Pibb and Dr. Pepper, we both would have said that to one another.
Exactly.
We would have come up and said that exact line.
Now, before we got into Tori's
Hang on.
go
Do
ahead.
you have another favorite line?
No. Well, I do. Do you want me to say it?
No, I'm not.
Okay, he's making
my favorite movie.
What is it? Go for it.
My favorite moment of the entire series, perhaps, was at the very, very end. But my favorite line of the whole thing was probably the "No be there." when
when they get in the hockey fight.
They get in the hockey fight, and Daniel fights everybody.
But when Johnny picks the fight, Daniel's ready to fight, but then he looks to his left, and Johnny's gone, and he goes, "And where were you?
Where were you? No be there.
No be there." Like he's learning from Mr. Miyagi. Because that was a lesson that Daniel told him. The best defense is not be there.
No defense, no be there.
And his response was just brilliant.
It was the timing, the way he delivered it, the fact that he was biting into a pretzel when he was doing it. He's just like, pick the fight and left.
Another one that I love with Johnny, he's making the manwiches. He went, "No, it needs to be more manly." And then dumps beef jerky in it. In fact, if I would have thought about it, we would have had manwiches and beef jerky tonight. Yeah.
So in honor of that. So did we get all the sodas? But we had.
I think so.
Mr. Pibb and Dr.
Product
Pepper,
placement.
The product placement was everywhere, and we had Champion sponsoring the
Champion sponsored Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai
Champion wear. Yeah.
Yeah, there was all kinds of subtle references.
Not
so subtle.
I want to go into. They introduced a black kid earlier on. He has a story. He's getting bullied.
A new kid
out of nowhere. He's getting bullied by LaRusso's kid, who we haven't seen much at all. He was hardly in 3. And that's another funny joke. When Johnny looks at him and goes, "Who are you?" Because you don't know, because he's grown so much.
He's grown and he's lost a ton of weight.
And then
who's this kid? Oh yeah.
And then the whole thing.
The forgotten child.
Yeah, I can still kick your ass. Is what he says.
He's getting bullied now. He's turned into a pretty decent.
LaRusso has. Yeah, he has.
He's doing well.
But LaRusso is now a bully of the little black kid.
Right. Who's doing terrible.
Whose brother is one of Robbie's ex-friends who went to jail. One of his hoodlums.
Right.
Robbie's
his older brother was
his older brother.
Season 1.
And that's really hard to make that connection, especially after you're watching these one year after the next. So, I mean, we figured it out, but it was supposed to be a big reveal at the end of the episode. And you're like, okay. And we're like, oh, okay, that's who he is. But he's not that big of a character. He was just in the first season.
Right.
And barely. Barely. And so Robbie takes him under his wing, helps him learn Cobra Kai, make him do defense. And then the kid starts getting aggressive at school and beats everyone up. And you're like, okay, so now you're the bully?
Yeah.
Because he goaded them into the library, turned off the lights, and then started beating them all up. Beat them all up. And then, of course, when LaRusso and all of them get suspended or whatnot from school, he goes, "Gotcha." Mm-hmm. Like this is his revenge. So Robbie I'm just going to go ahead and just get this black kid story arcs out of the way. Robbie faces him in the tournament. Robbie shows no mercy to him after being all kind. He gets all mad. LaRusso comes to apologize to him at the end, and he beats up LaRusso. But then Robbie stops him. Like, what are you doing? Robbie, you weren't really that kind to him in the ring. I mean, you kicked him in the face. You were really overly aggressive because he got that point off you at the beginning. It surprised you and embarrassed you. So, I mean, Robbie admits that he's made mistakes to Johnny at the end. They have that moment. Yeah. But if that was all, and this is what I was going to say, if that's all the black kid story was, to give Robbie a hook to connect with Johnny again, it was pointless. Yeah. And that story was bad. And that's one bad thing about this.
I don't know if I agree with that, because I feel
what was the point of that kid's arc then?
That kid because the point of him was to show how bullies are made. And to show this kid's gotten the raw end of every deal, and he's gotten crapped on from every angle. And that's why because he's a nice kid. He's a nice, sweet kid. And he's a freshman in high school, I think.
He's freshman,
14 or something. And
freshman,
he goes to high school for the first time. Because when they open his story arc, he's dancing and living his best life and having a good time. And then he starts getting laughed at. From the day he gets on the school bus.
Yeah.
And so you instantly like him. And you can see he's just a good-hearted kid. But he gets the raw end of every single deal at every single opportunity. Even though he tries to do the right thing. He's just trying to be a good kid and live his life.
And even though Cobra Kai obviously bullies.
Right.
The school bully is at Cobra Kai.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the school bully keeps bullying during this time, and they bully at every place they go. They antagonize everything.
Everybody's antagonizing everybody.
And yet he's happy he's with this group because he's going to learn how to stand up to his bullies by hanging out with the bullies.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think is the point, because that's not what happened. He's not happy with this group. He's very much a solo fighter.
Well, he's happy with Cobra Kai.
I don't know if he's happy with Cobra Kai.
He says that.
Does he?
To Robbie.
He says Cobra Kai never dies, no mercy, or something like that. He's happy.
He said, this is why I joined. This is why I joined. This is what Cobra Kai has taught me. This is what I do.
But it's him. It's all about him. He's not happy with his group. He's just happy he gets to fight back and punch. He was happy he got to punch the crap out of LaRusso. I think.
Right.
He doesn't care about the tournament, I think, as much as he cares about defending himself and getting back at all these people who've been laughing at him.
Right.
So I think his story arc is more so like an overarching story tale of like this is how kids can be mean and cruel to each other, and this is why they might be awful, to try to show how it happens. Like even the best people can turn violent, and don't be cruel to people. Jeez, like why are you so harsh?
Okay, well,
I don't think it was solely the plot hook for Robbie. And have you noticed that? Like this season got so confusing, and Robbie and Miguel aren't even really the main characters anymore.
No, they were kind of lost. Miguel's been more central than the rest of them, but yeah.
But I mean, it's been a lot more about
because they've introduced too many characters at this point.
Yeah, it's a lot of arcs,
like the tall nerd and Eli's girlfriends.
They're all going.
They're in for like 2 episodes, and they're in glimpses, and you've seen them in the past. They were on season 1. Yeah, they're part of the Mean Girls trilogy. Well, but the thing is, though, they just have time to drop in, say hello, and then leave the scene,
which I'm not a fan of.
I'm not a fan of those either. But the thing is, though, who cares, and why are you keeping these characters around if they're not going to do anything to propel the storyline? So Eli got the girl at the end, but there was really no time delivered.
Did he get the girl, or did she just randomly come up and kiss him at the end? Like he didn't do anything. He didn't even do anything.
No, he didn't do anything. Well, he didn't do anything.
You want to talk about a written-in plot hook?
It was dumb.
Eli wins because his ex.
And the nerd still has the hot chick. We're reminded twice of that. Because that's the only 2 scenes she was in.
So this brings me to my main complaint. This fits in nicely with what my main complaint of this entire season is. Because about episode 3, we were in it, and I turned to you and I said, "Is this the final season? Because they're really stretching this out." And you said to me, no, that they're going to stretch it out probably for like 6 seasons.
I don't think anything's big, but I'd heard like they had 2 other seasons.
But it was by episode 3, I'm realizing, oh my God, they're going to stretch this whole thing out.
They have so many characters, and they didn't give time for anyone is the problem. That's the main core of the problem is no one had a big story. Like, for instance, Hawk, Eli, totally useless this round because he
won the tournament.
He gives up Cobra Kai. He joins whoever. I mean, he's basically on Eagle Hawk, I think, at first. Hawk. He's on his
own karate.
No, he's on Eagle Fang.
Yeah.
Eagle Fang. He's basically was on Eagle. I think he joined Eagle Fang.
For 1 second, it was Miyagi Fang.
He was PR. Well, yeah, he was PR to Miyagi Do or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, but so he comes in. He gets kind of, he's kind of on the outs a little bit because he's the new guy that just flipped from Cobra Kai.
Right.
But man, they could have done stuff with that. And here's the thing. He eventually joins Miyagi Do. However, Daniel didn't do anything to convince him to do that.
Yeah.
And Miguel,
change of heart at the big fight at the house.
For the past 3 seasons, it's been him and Miguel.
Right.
Best friends or enemies.
Now
remember the nerdy kid who convinced him, you're my 1, I'm your 0 or whatever. We're binary brothers. Right. Okay. The thing is, that's great. But remember, you did not want to do karate. He and Miguel did.
You're right.
And they've been in it from the very beginning. He would join Miguel because he and Miguel are brothers. In fact, that's why he decided to turn because he was fighting Miguel and he didn't want to go against him anymore. Mm-hmm. And so he turned. Okay, so now he should be on Eagle Fang. But because Miyagi Do, according to their write-out of the season, Miyagi Do needs a champion. A male champion, someone that you think would actually, and so they have to turn Eli to Miyagi Do, but they don't know how to do it. Well, let's say that Johnny kept mistreating Eli, like he did at the beginning. He's like, "You're the punching bag," because you're the new guy.
Right.
Well, what if Daniel spends more time with him this season, and instead of Miguel? I know that Miguel's his. Miguel likes Daniel. The LaRusso girl loves Johnny. Mm-hmm. That's what they did. But the thing is, though, if you want Eli to join Miyagi-Do, have Daniel take on me. You have him show Eli love.
It does seem
and then Eli makes the switch, and that makes more sense because they made him the champion, which was fun. But that he was playing for Miyagi-Do makes zero sense.
And the plot points, you're right. Of typically it's been pushed by Daniel or Johnny, which as it should have been. Like they have been the protagonists and antagonists of every single story, every single reason that these kids have flip-flopped up until now. And that's a big part of it now. Like Johnny and Daniel weren't as involved as they have been in pushing one kid or the other to one decision or the other. Now it's much more about the Beverly Hills 90210 Club of these kids getting all caught up in their triangles and their dramas, and no one cares because we can't keep up with it all.
Right.
And it's so confusing. But it was confusing and annoying in season 1, 2, 3. But we care so much about Daniel and Johnny and what their decisions are and what happens to them because we care about if his own child is doing this thing. We care about what happened, how Johnny feels about it. Now they aren't pushing those plots anymore.
Well, they're repeating the plots because at first it was with Robbie. That's my son, but Daniel's treating him as a son. Okay, now it's Miguel. That's my student. Now he's acting like your student. It's the same. It's a repeat from plot 1. So they put them on autopilot this season.
And
it's
that
what they
wraps
did.
Up my point. That's what the final. I want to finish that point.
Sure.
In episode 3, I said, "Are we going to stretch this out?" And I kind of in my head was thinking, "Oh, I'm disappointed by this. I wish this was the final season and that everything I wanted to see would have happened." At the same time, I'm happy because of the very end and the way Chosen shows up, and Karate Kid Part 2 is a huge thing for me. And I love Chosen, and I love Sato and that whole plot line. And I want to see
and again,
I'm a huge fan of how it ended, but I wish in some ways that this would have been it.
Yeah, and again, we'll get to the ending. We'll get to that because I have a lot on that. But talking about not giving anyone time, Tori, not giving any time at all. Has an odd angle where you're supposed to feel sorry for her, but she still hates LaRusso. LaRusso's the bully now.
Right. She's acting like a total jerk.
Her mom rightfully threatens Tori at the beginning in the restaurant. Rightfully, because I mean, you tried to kill my daughter.
Tried to kill my daughter.
This summer.
Literally threaten you.
And then suddenly she feels bad because Tori gets fired because of her outburst, and then she wants to help Tori all of a sudden, and then Tori is checking with LaRusso's mom for advice.
Which is fine with me. I'm good with that. The forgiveness plot and being able to.
But it was not cultivated well.
It wasn't cultivated well.
And then you made this point. The mom right before she's late getting to the tournament to fight the championship
fight, the last fight. And her mom, this is the moment the mom chooses to come in and say, so don't kill my daughter.
Yeah, don't kill. Or no, it's like, hey, been seeing a therapist. Good.
Right? Have you been seeing your therapist?
You've been keeping up with that. Hey, I just want you to know whatever happens. And she even tells Miss Lucia, I'm trying to make it a thing. But here's the thing: the writers are like, oh dang it, we forgot to put this scene in. Where can we fit it in?
It makes me wonder.
For time's sake, let's fit it in during the tournament, like right before. It could have been when everyone's taking a break during Miguel's injury.
No.
Or
this
when
is the moment you choose.
Right before the tournament, maybe she comes and talks to her. But because they wanted to say, oh, and by the way, I'm going to be cheering for my daughter, and then hope that this makes you both friends afterwards. Is that why you kept it toward that point? Because that's an awkward time to do it, and it felt forced.
Really.
And Tori's, there was just it was so lost on how they wrote her character this season.
And there is a good way to put in.
There's a great way to put that in there.
But that wasn't it. And I did like the afterthought writing though. They were like, oh yeah, and Johnny Lawrence, also 2-time champion of the karate tournament, because he was the 2-time winner before Daniel ever showed up. And I thought that was a good little add-in that they did at the very end.
Exactly. One thing that we talked about that we didn't like, we laughed at basically. There were a ton of extras of the kids.
Who is that?
But they're not the same extras because they didn't show up at a different day and way and time. You never saw the same actor. I mean, you saw if they had a small character role, they were there, and sometimes it's just the core. But then when they had to have a scene with more actors, they got just random. At least get the same extras. At least get the same. Remember that tall dude who fought the little short kid?
Yeah.
Never saw him until the tournament.
What happened?
And we've seen several. And then there were other characters that popped in, popped out, popped in, popped out from Miyagi-Go for Eagle, Fang.
Did the 2 little nerds even fight in the end? The 2 little guys?
No.
What happened to them?
No, the grown-up nerd fought the tall, lanky kid from Miyagi-Do that we'd never seen before all season long because they needed another extra.
Ouch.
And they just kept getting different extras for different episodes.
You'd think
Use
with
the
as
same
many
extras.
arcs, like they would have had plenty of. I don't know.
Yeah, it felt rushed or
You think
something.
that COVID and production had anything to do with the way that was cast?
I have no idea, but that was terribly confusing when you kept seeing a brand new face next to a star. You know, they throw in a few. It was obvious they threw in a few extras, but when you're talking about a small dojo, I mean, Cobra Kai, yeah, they have a ton of extras and they're not always the same. I get that. They're a big group.
Yeah,
okay, we could have missed one or two.
They got the money
of
and the
them,
power and the numbers.
But Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang are so low, and you're always doing these 3 little extras, 2 or 3 extras. They get sprinkled into the cast on certain scenes, but they're not the same extras.
Yeah,
so is it just a revolving door?
Couldn't even tell. Like, it was, what the heck's going on? And then we were like, maybe they're an all-star karate or Locust Valley karate or something like that. It was great to have the other dojos.
Well, we were talking about that. Why weren't they, at the beginning? We'll go ahead and go to the end. Okay. So at the tournament, why weren't the other dojos introduced?
Yeah, why were they introduced?
Because they weren't on the marquee of this one. And I was like, because at first I thought it was just those 3 you're going to be competing. Right. And then all of a sudden when we see the All-Star Karate, Locust Valley Karate, like, wait a minute, well, introduce them all. You know, or just show them all.
Show that they're there.
Yeah. That was really weird. Also for the...
like, what color were they wearing? Because there's red, black, and
some of them wore the same colors, and they had Eagle Fang fight the same color. And I'm thinking, well, I'm sure, you know what? No one had green. No one had yellow. Yeah. No one. Give them different colors and a different signal, or make them white with something. I mean, that was kind of weird. Eagle Fang was fighting Eagle Fang. Oh no, their logo's different on their back. Right. Okay, but why would you have red on red? I don't know. There's a few questions there.
It was really confusing.
Yeah. Carrie Underwood.
What in the world was that?
Comes in, sings a song that you found out was in the title. I mean, the end credits of the first one.
End credits of Karate Kid 1.
And no one knows this song. No one knows this song.
Kid 1 a million times.
No one knows this song.
I've never. We all, I think, said to each other, like, "Who? Why? Why is she here?" So we just guessed. We surmised that maybe Carrie was a fan.
And they said, "Oh, can you fit me in?" They said, "Sure." Can you sing this title song?
You figure, of all the people.
But even that song wasn't that good.
The rendition wasn't good.
And she did, I get it. You bring in a special guest star to sing the montage song. Right. To cover a montage song. But that was a terrible song for the montage. It didn't fit right.
No, it didn't fit. Maybe it could have fit over the end credits or something. It should have.
They should have done that. That's how they should have ended it. Carrie Underwood. And then she sings and all we see is the end credits, not her.
Instead, it was just a confusing moment of like, why? Why is she here?
Yeah, that was weird. One fun reference that you blink or you're not thinking and you miss it is the Bloodsport reference. Where we didn't realize what was going on. Yeah. They watched Bloodsport in a drive-in theater, which is really funny because they're thinking how awesome it is, and Johnny's all for Bloodsport. Mm-hmm. So then during the tournament, Robbie gets his belt ripped, and so his shirt won't stay on, so he just rips it off. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, and then Hawk, of course, rips his off too to show his tattoo, and they're going at each other, and they're like, okay, that's weird. They just ripped off their shirts, and no one's gonna say anything about this. I'm like, Bloodsport, Bloodsport. That's what they're doing there. So pretty funny.
That was pretty
funny. That was pretty witty.
I was a fan of that.
I'll give you that one. Mm-hmm. One of the best things. There's a 2-part tournament episode.
Yes.
It ends. Oh man, on a big red herring because you think Miguel cracked his back.
Cracks his back,
but no, it's a pulled muscle.
What?
But he yells out "Sensei!" Right. And then it goes Cobra Kai, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, what happened?" Nothing. It's like a soap opera.
It wasn't even.
It's a soap opera ending, and tune in next week where what happened?
And
I left the fridge open.
I left the fridge
okay.
Open.
Oh, so it wasn't that bad of a deal.
And
okay.
The audience,
everything is ruined.
And then the
I left the fridge open.
It's like, oh, no big deal.
Yeah, so that was weak sauce. But the last episode did have, because the whole thing I was having a problem with, and I had this written. I've deleted my notes now. I was like, you know what, Daniel? They're trying to say that there's a mix. You got to mix these two to have the perfect solution, and that is so far away from what Mr. Miyagi taught. Okay, You know, Mr. Miyagi taught defense the whole time. That's what he taught. And yet, these people popped in the DVD of Karate Kid 3. They took notes. And it's probably the smartest thing that they've done.
It was magnificent. Yep.
They took a line, they took a scene.
Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
The pinnacle of wisdom.
Comes in, but Daniel says, I forgot Mr. Miyagi's most important rule. And they show a scene from Karate Kid 3 after it's toward the end when they're repairing the bonsai tree and replanting it after it's been broken by the bullies. And he goes, have strong root. Daniel's not have strong root, you know. And someday you will find your way. He went, yeah, but my way's going to be your way. He went,
some way, find own way.
Yeah, right. Someday you'll find your own way.
Right.
And the thing is, this is his own way. And suddenly, all my complaints about, because that was a big complaint this season, I went, wow, that's kind of not staying true to the series. But Karate Kid 3 gave them an out.
And how wonderful to both of us that Karate Kid 3 is such an important part of Cobra Kai now.
To be honest,
we were happy with
it is a must-see
of it.
Yeah.
At the beginning of season 1 and 2, we were so thrilled with the mention of it. And then with Silver's even potential revival, we were thrilled. And now, to really enjoy Cobra Kai, you must see Karate Kid Part 3, which has never been uttered in the history of the world until this year.
And the thing is, this is why the TV show, even with all its faults for season 4, is still better than the movies. Because it enriches one.
Yeah.
Two... there's some great scenes in season 3
that gives you a lot of things that you always
give you closure for 2.
Yeah,
you get closure for 2, and for season 3, finally, they elevate it to a status to let you understand. He was on coke, and we can get away with this new offense-defense story plot because of what Miyagi said earlier, which is fair. I accepted all my complaints. I deleted from my phone when we saw that. No, that was really brilliant.
Do you think that they were just having like a munchies moment, just eating Cheetos, watching Karate Kid Part 3 again? Like, what are we going to do? And then we're like, oh, there's our get out of jail free card.
I think they sat down with a pen and pad, wrote down everything they could for Karate Kid 3, and just said, okay, let's spin this. Let's spin this. Yeah. And they found a great quote that could mean this, that led to this. So that's great.
And I like that because you're probably right. And they were there was probably another list of like checklist items. What do we want to do?
Right.
You know, and I said that to you at some point when I was like, how excited would they have been on that day when they finally got to have Daniel and Johnny fighting again?
Oh, yeah.
And like every time they choreograph a fight between those two.
It's great.
It's a fantastic moment. They just did a really, really, really good job. The TV show is excellent.
Yeah, the TV show is excellent, even though the season is kind of a misfire.
It's been kind of a weird conglomeration of nonsense.
The one arc that did survive throughout the season, I think they put Johnny and Daniel on repeat from an earlier season. Everyone else was just such a tangled web of just there's never enough tension put on anyone. And it just was all mixed up.
Except for
Kreese and Silver. Kreese and Silver have this relationship. Well, I mean, it pays off at the end.
Great.
And you're very pissed off. I kind of was at Kreese and 8 because you're like, what is going on with him? Okay, so
Kreese
Kreese and Silver's relationship. Okay. Excuse me. You're very pissed off with both of them because
I felt
John Kreese brought Silver in to help him out. But then, when Silver starts doing his own way, a little bit more mature way of doing things, Kreese knocks him down a peg.
He rips him down a peg.
And so Silver goes all nuts and tries to beat up Johnny in front of and this is what I'm seeing just from a viewer's eye, tries to beat up Johnny in front of, this is what you wanted, right? He's like, no.
Yeah, I thought this was what you wanted.
And so then he starts drinking. He's like, not what you wanted, not what you wanted. And then, of course, that's when Stingray
kills Stingray.
He punches Stingray down. You're like, what? And that's the end of it. And you're like, okay, you know you're going to go to jail for this. Okay, anyway, I don't know. So
and I did call that. I thought that they were going to kill him, though. Like, I thought he was going to die. But no, he just got severely injured.
It was
got
nuts. Because Stingray really, he's the big kid from 2, the older guy that wants to be part of Cobra Kai and never really officially was. Just kind of weird
old. Kind of a joke.
Old guy. He's a joke. But he really wants to get in. So he goes to Silver and says, hey, VP, I want to see if you can get me into Cobra. Because Kreese runs him out, laughs him out. And so Kreese just beats him up. And that's the end of that.
Silver beats him up.
Silver beats him up. And so in episode 10, then he and Kreese are enjoying some champagne, and Kreese goes, "Hey, remember?" Because Kreese said something. Silver said something that pissed Kreese off. He said everyone has a weakness. He went, even Sensei Kreese went, yes, even Sensei Kreese, and that's what pisses Kreese off. And that's where they, but the thing is, they said, you wanted to know what your weakness was? He went, I'll tell you. It's Johnny. And he showed him that night when he brought him there to beat him up. Because he said, what's my weakness? Well, Silver just kind of, and then didn't say anything because he was thinking, I'm going to show you what your weakness is. Which means the whole thing about him trying to make, because that was all an act. What, Kreese, aren't you happy? I thought this is what you wanted.
He was playing his
He's
chess
playing
game.
him, just like he played Daniel.
Yeah.
Thought this is what you wanted.
And then he twisted it.
You punched that guy in the nose.
Went back to his roots.
But then showed him.
Even Kreese.
But he said, Kreese, you're my weakness. Because you keep doing Nam, and that keeps getting me, the guilt trip. But I'm done with that. I'm cutting you out. Yeah. And then we find out that as he's beating up Stingray, at the very end, when Stingray's about to lose consciousness, you want in? When they tell you who did this, and then, of course, it flashes to him in the hospital. You went, who did this? He went, Sensei Kreese. Mm-hmm. There's a pause in between that as Silver's talking to him. So Kreese gets arrested. Bye-bye. He owns Cobra Kai now. Kreese is maybe out of his life is what he thinks. And Silver is back.
And he did it all with the plan in place because as soon as they win the tournament, he grabs the microphone and says, we're going to be opening dojos all across the valley and all this other stuff.
Yeah, and it's a big that to me is really good. Kreese gets Kreese and Silver get the storyline here, and mainly Silver.
The consistent storyline we wanted, yeah.
So Kreese woke up the dragon. Silver becomes Terrence becomes Terry again, and then as he's talking, when Kreese revs up again and beats him down over Nam, and I don't have a weakness. What's this crap about me having a weakness? And then that's when Terry Silver really comes back.
Shows up. And he's right, because Kreese's weakness was Johnny, because at the end of the tournament, he's like, let her do whatever she wants, because he wants to have a little bit of redemption. And I was not a fan of that.
He flashes back to 2, and he kind of feels like, he never had a son, Johnny.
Part 1, the end of part 1, where he's like, sweep the leg, no mercy.
Yeah.
And he felt bad about that.
But then choking him out, he feels bad about that too.
And in the beginning of part 2.
Part 2, which is the original scene from part 1. But the thing is though, that it was his weakness. And if you look back at the season, he wants to be with Johnny again, and he wants the old glory days. But at the same time, Johnny was his star. Johnny was like a son to him, like Miguel is a son to Johnny. Is what I guess they're trying to do there. But that Terry Silver shows that, reveals that, has a big setup. All this stupid stuff we've been seeing, inconsistencies with Silver. After he and Kreese have a fight, pays off at the end. It does pay off. And that's really, and to me, that was bigger than your guy coming back, Chosen coming back in.
Because Chosen's been back.
Chosen's been back. We've already seen him, and that's the thing I was looking for.
But I was upset. I had told you before the end of part 10. I had said I feel disappointed because Silver hasn't been evil. He hasn't been the bad guy I was expecting, and then he was.
It looked like he caved to Kreese.
Here we go, finally. Now he's showing up. Yeah. And then when they did the pan around and Chosen comes up, I'm like, I'm all for this.
Yes. No.
Coming to America. Bringing the Okinawa to the States now instead of the other way around, and it's fantastic.
But let's look at season finales right now.
Yeah.
Number 1, first season is the best.
Right.
John Kreese coming back with the cigar.
There's no comparison.
There's no. It's fall off your couch. Awesome.
We were both.
It's fall off your couch. Awesome.
Literally.
And end of season 2, when he throws the phone down and walks away. And someone texts him back, and it's Allie.
It was Allie, right?
That's a good one.
Was a good one.
That was good. That was good.
You're right.
And then
we had a Terry Silver at the end of the.
We knew Terry Silver was coming in 3. So this one is the lowest one because we've seen Chosen. If we hadn't seen him before, it'd have been interesting.
It would have been huge.
It would have been huge. So we didn't get the huge one. A Mike Barnes would be. I'm still expecting to see Mike Barnes.
Where was I was totally expecting that.
Because Terry said he's going to get someone else to help.
So is that our prediction? Is that who did Terry call? That's what we didn't get.
Mike Barnes is
Because
definitely who he's going to call. Because he originally promised Mike Barnes a percentage of the Karate Kids if he won that tournament. Remember? In 3.
No.
He promised Mike Barnes a percentage of the income from Cobra Kai.
I don't remember that.
That's what Mike Barnes asked to be his champion. The price of his champion was to do
now
that.
He has to be there.
You're good. I like it. I really like it.
I like you, kid.
You know, he just laughs maniacally while in the hot tub with a cigar.
Right.
On cocaine now.
On coke. Right. Which was fantastic.
But and then
I read something about with that actor. He was like, he was asking the director, he's like, really? You want it bigger than what I'm doing right now? And he said, yeah, I need it bigger. I need it bigger. I need it slimier.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay.
If season 5 is Chosen and Daniel versus Mike Barnes and Terry Silver, okay, that's going to be good.
I'm a fan of that.
That's going to be good with John Kreese trying to get out of his legal problems. Then, season 6, I've already said this before, Miyagi-Do is back, but getting sued by Hilary Swank from Next Karate Kid, who had the rights longer. Because at this point, I despise. We saw Next Karate Kid.
We have to.
I despise that movie.
We watch it, and it was horrible.
However, if they include it, I'm not against it now.
At this point,
you got to go for gold.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
at this point,
you got to do it.
Right.
So I'm expecting Hilary Swank to come in for one episode. They're going to drop some money.
Will Smith's kid.
No, I don't think they're connect that one. That one doesn't even happen in the same universe, really. Right. So they're not going to connect.
Because there was no Miyagi.
Now, do they connect?
At least Miyagi knew Hilary Swank.
True.
So
yeah, it's true. Yeah, well,
at least is that.
Yeah, well, Jackie Chan. You gotta get Jackie Chan.
No, I think they said. Didn't they say that Jackie Chan wasn't going to do it because it wasn't?
Well, he didn't play Miyagi. He played Mr. Han, is what he played, because he didn't want to disrespect the late actor's role, which was honorable, but wasn't necessary. But it was nice of Jackie Chan to do that. Mm-hmm. Now I'm wondering, now do we connect the Karate Kid cartoon from 1987?
Yes. And
where they go looking for the magic shrine. Him. The girl from 2 and Miss Miyagi.
Yukie was in that?
Yeah, Yukie was in that too. Because they all travel around the globe to find the magic lantern that was stolen from Mr. Miyagi's homeland, and they have to get it back.
Magic lantern.
It's a magic lantern.
And then the other one,
if I remember right. Or shrine or something.
Could have is the girlfriend from part 3 as well. She hasn't shown up. And I wouldn't really mind. If she did.
Yeah, she could.
She was like the hot flame for a
minute. She could, but they never really connected.
It won't be an Allie and Johnny.
You know why they didn't connect in 3?
Triangle or anything like that.
You know why they didn't connect in 3?
Who connected in 3?
The redheaded girl and Daniel.
What?
Because Daniel in real life was older 20s, and she was still a teenager.
What?
But he was playing a teenager, but they decided not to do anything.
Wow.
With it, even though. Acting wise, they were the same age, but he didn't want to do anything because he was in his late 20s by then, and she was 18 or something. I don't know, or 17. I don't know. She was young,
but he was able to call the shots at this point.
Probably so, but for whatever reason, said we're going to make this just friends, even though we're playing the same age. No.
Interesting.
So that was interesting. But
who did you say, like, Silver and Daniel are the same age?
Yeah, they're the same age.
Wow, what a difference.
Isn't that crazy? Well, he looked older in 3.
No,
too.
I agree.
But if you think about it, he looks his age. Daniel does not. Because Daniel was like late 20s by the time 3 came out.
Right.
And so was the other guy. The other Silver looks late 20s. Right. or cracking 30.
The beauty of Hollywood. I love it, but it's just amazing that they are the same age.
But now Silver looks his actual age, and Daniel LaRusso doesn't. So yeah, But I mean, here's the thing: I'm not turned off from watching season 5.
I'm not excited.
I'm just saying this was not the best one.
No, I'm not thrilled like we were. This is the first Cobra Kai wrap up podcast we've done where we haven't been giddy. And just thrilled with what we saw.
And we liked a lot what we saw.
We were thrilled about seeing Kreese come back. We were thrilled about Allie being thrust into the mix. We were thrilled about Silver showing up.
Yeah.
And then now it's like Chosen's there, and I love Karate Kid 2, but it's not as big. I did like that they brought in another opportunity to show Mr. Miyagi's gravesite and that great prop that they made for it and everything else. It was a good moment.
And
however,
Yeah, and I don't think we overhyped it because we knew Silver was coming in. We had high expectations. Of course, we had high expectations. It's
But
Cobra
the
Kai,
waters got too
but
muddied.
it got too muddy. No one was given time. There's a lot of lost characters and plot lines that got dropped, and pointless things that got put in.
Right.
And
why are they
of course,
blurring the lines with
good
everybody?
jokes, good Johnny's always good. Daniel's always good. They put them on repeat, but Silver gets the story arc here, which is good. But I don't know what happened with this season. I am hoping they right the ship in season 5. Not that it's blazing. I'm not worried at this point.
I'm not really worried either.
Yeah.
If they draw it out a little too much.
Now, here's the thing.
It's a new character in episode 1 again. And
If 5 is just as lost as 4, then I'm going to go to work. Yeah.
Right.
Then I'll start to get worried. But right now I'm not.
You would be okay with season 5 not being the end all. Like you're like, okay, let's keep going with it.
If it's not like 4. Yeah. If it's not like 4, if it is like 5, I'm gonna be going, okay, we need to shoot this horse.
We need to wrap this up.
This has got to be it. But if they right the ship and they focus, they really need to cut down on all the characters or focus more time.
Give us some depth on the ones that we
give us some depth on these and start straightening things out. So, I really hope one way or the other they right the ship and get better in 5, which I'm hoping they would. Give us whoever else you got. I would prefer that they would wrap it up in season 5.
Do you think there's any chance that Kreese could come back as not a member of Cobra Kai?
Yeah, I think
perhaps Eagle Fang
this is Kreese's turn to be Johnny's dad.
Mm-hmm.
I believe so.
Because Miguel's gone to see his dad in Mexico, who could be a mystery character, or that could just wrap up really quick, and Miguel gets kidnapped and is out for the whole season because he's going to freaking Mexico City as a 16-year-old kid.
It's an odd storyline. That means it's not going to be good.
It's not going to be good. But I did like how the grandmother said in Spanish with no subtitles. She said he's looking more and more like his papa. And I only knew that with a little bit of Spanish I do know. And I'm like, oh, I see a subtle drop there. Like I kind of saw that coming, to be honest, with bringing in Miguel's dad, his physical dad, his real dad. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I know who his dad is.
So who's his real dad? Barnes?
No.
Who's in
Karate Kid 1?
What?
He karate kicks the door at the very beginning of the movie and knocks out that Hispanic kid.
The next door neighbor, Spanish kid. You're probably right.
Holy,
that would be wonderful.
Who becomes a drug lord.
To the makers of Cobra Kai. Here you go.
If you do that,
you can have it. We don't even need credit for it.
An old friend of Dan. Now, here's the thing. Does Robbie and what's-her-face get back now that Dan...
Of course.
This is dumb. But then Tori's still in love with him, and I don't know.
That's where you have to write in a new character to make it...
No, we don't need any more new characters. Please, no more new characters. Please, no more new characters. No more new ones. Yeah. No more new ones.
Walk left side road safe. Walk right side road safe. Don't walk in the middle and get squished just like grape. Don't do that.
On Saturday.
To the morning.
Samoflange.